But she summarized it as Frozen meets Kill Bill.
Where do you get that? Where does that
Yeah,
come from? Welcome, Nerd Chatter, a weekly podcast where we discuss stories throughout the week from the film, gaming, and tech industries. I got Lucas and Kenny with me. What up, boys?
What up?
What up?
On this week's show, we're going to go over Star Wars Celebration announcements, as well as talk a little bit about EA PGA Tour and our opinions. But before we get to that, you can hit us with a like and subscribe. Be much appreciated. So, Star Wars. I had no idea that this was coming.
This is a pretty big thing.
Yeah, I mean, I was just so distracted by other shit going on that it's like, this is probably big enough where we should talk about it. So
yeah, I forgot Star Wars Celebration was happening this weekend.
I would have gotten try to get Garrett on the show. He's gonna be on next week, but which is good because the event's still going on. We still got some time for some announcements, probably some game stuff tomorrow, I would assume, right?
It's 3 day, right? Saturday, Sunday?
Yeah, I believe it's 3 days. So
in the UK?
It's in the EU, yeah. And we got some juicy information. We're going to kind of just gloss over them. And then with Garrett on the show next week, we'll go a little more in depth. But first on here, we got the Ahsoka trailer that dropped. And some juicy little tidbits in that for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So we do have confirmation of Grand Admiral Thrawn. I think Garrett would agree. Probably one of the more hardcore characters in Star Wars lore. More of your, I don't know, what would you compare him to? Like a legit Adolf Hitler, legit, really bad dude. You know what I mean? He's in charge of the most ruthless branch of the Empire. So
yeah, if you thought Moff Gideon was bad,
yeah, nothing.
This guy's way worse.
Yeah, way worse. So, very interesting. I mean, I'm pretty stoked about that show. And that is going to be played by Lars Mikkelsen, right? Also does the voice for him on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's a tall, lengthy dude, so I'm sure stature-wise he could pull it off. Face-wise, I mean, we'll have to see the makeup. They didn't show the makeup, right? That was like a rear view.
No, yeah, it was just a rear view, kind of oh, you notice he's blue, so okay, that's
was
him.
he? Did you see the blue? I couldn't see the blue.
Hopefully they don't make him look like an avatar.
Nah, I mean, the way that they've done a few of these characters that they've crossed over, it's these look pretty good. I mean, really, just with Thrawn in particular, he has very human features. He just has very dramatic cheekbones and really
he's very rigid and edged jawline.
Yeah, and then he has the big kind of bulbous forehead, that kind of puffy forehead. So I mean, they'll probably do it with just makeup. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I mean, that's pretty tight. You're gonna have that direct carryover, right? Voice wise, it's gonna be very familiar. There's also a little bit of news I read where Rosario Dawson trained 14 hours a week to recreate the animated show's stunts.
I mean, is it even possible to do?
Nah, I mean, I'm sure.
Animation versus real life.
It's probably just landing and just basic lightsaber movement, just the posture. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
they'll fill in the rest with all the wires and shit like that. You know what I mean? And CGI. Did they release a date for that? I know it was summer, right?
Thought it was
August?
August or so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was August 2023. So I mean, that's coming up pretty close. But also announced, and something that I'm pretty stoked for in particular, is the Old Republic. They're going back. I got this image here. Oh, that's pretty small. Let me see here. We got the Old Republic, the High Republic, Fall of the Jedi. What is that? Reign of the Empire, Age of the Rebellion, the New Republic, and Rise of the First Order. So they're going to be filling in quite a few gaps, but it's the first one there that I'm interested in quite a bit, the Old Republic.
Yeah. Yep.
I had mentioned it on previous shows. I mean, going back to when just this show started, because one of the first shows we did, if not the first, was a Star Wars, catch up. And I had talked about, you know, how I just don't want them to keep going on with the Skywalker saga. I want them to jump back, you know, to the beginning, or in the Old Republic, you know, your KOTOR and other, you know, game and book properties where it's like story and world building of just like the Jedi and the Sith in general, you know. It's like get away from the Skywalker saga, and it kind of looks like they're going to be doing that, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
seems like it. I mean, I'm super excited for, you know, the shows that hopefully take place well before, you know, like uh, how the Force came to be, how Jedi's and Sith came to be. Like that's
What did they announce? We had I guess it's not necessarily titled yet, right? But it's like Dawn of the Force is kind of like the terminology that he used, right? The first
Yeah.
Jedi, the birth of the Force, and just kind of
Yeah.
that for. I mean, that's just a cool like premise. You know what I mean? Like to me, like that's like, oh, okay, now they're like tapping the well. You know what I mean? Like that's the dope shit. So we got pre Old Republic there. But did I like miss something in like regards to like the Old Republic? Is that going to be separate from that Dawn of the Force? Because I mean, I consider that to probably be like pre Old Republic, right? Like,
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I'd have to rewatch the, you know, the celebration and then kind of
yeah,
go back through some things, but I would assume so.
yeah. I mean, the whole that's a whole sick premise though. Like just the beginning of it all, and that first character, you know, like the chicken or the egg type of scenario.
Right. Like I think it'd also be cool just to like see like how they, you know, conceptualize like how the Force like came to be, and like, you know, like was it just inherit, like did someone stumble across it, or did like creatures, or, you know,
Like, what is
race,
it?
like
You know
what
I mean?
was the initial race that like had
Triggered
the
it.
Force?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like where did it come from? What is
So
it
you want an
actually?
origin story.
Yeah, an origin story of a non-character, essentially. Well, you'll be about a premise within the lore. Like that's cool. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
so I mean, we had some juicy stuff. That what is it, the High Republic, I think it was, or something like that. It's like a book series. I have that listed down here a little bit later, but just poking at it now, you know, it's supposed to be kind of like a line of books. I'm sure Garrett will have like more
Yeah, I'm
information
sure
on that,
he'll.
but like
Yeah, and I'm
it's supposed to
not
be
too
like
familiar.
adult, middle grade, and like young adult novels. Like there's different categories of books, so it's like, you know, they're all going to be a part of the same story, and this like the world building that they're going to be doing, this pre Skywalker saga, the pre prequels type of story plot. You know, they're gonna be having all of the media kind of like coming together. So gonna be pretty sick. James Mangold, who is a showrunner, I believe, on Logan and the upcoming Indiana Jones Dial of Destiny, right? So I believe he's gonna be writing and directing his little take on it. What else do we have? Lando show is still happening. It looks like there's no, you know, there's no real progress going down with it. I believe Donald Glover showed some interest in it, right?
Yeah,
Do
I
we
saw
need a Lando
I saw
show?
that too.
What's up?
Do we need a Lando show?
Yeah, I don't think so. And like that kind of goes back to me being like they just need to get away from all of this shit. You know what I mean?
Right. I think they were like getting or wanting to do that just because of the Solo movie, and just like, oh, everyone knows this character, let's dive into his background kind
Yeah.
of thing. And I don't think we really need to.
And they don't have a Harrison Ford level check they have to cut if they want to have Han Solo make appearances. You know what I mean? Unless it takes place way in the future, and then just the age difference looks weird. You know what I mean? Like Donald Glover
Yeah.
not looking old enough or what have you. But most likely would take place, you know, after the films, you know, immediately or during, you know, the last couple films of the original trilogy. Who knows? But I don't know. I don't feel that we need that essentially. But I mean, if Donald Glover is interested, then, you know, so be it. As long as it doesn't seem like forced, you know what I mean? Canceled Rogue Squadron, not necessarily canceled, I guess. It is temporarily shelved, but they are still talking about it. Kathleen Kennedy is still talking about it, that, you know, it could be a possibility. Not sure if it'll be a film or a TV or streaming series, but what do you guys feel about that one? That was the Who was supposed to direct that? It was the Wonder Woman director, right? Patty Jenkins.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
It would be interesting to have that, like, I don't know whether it would be like a film or a series, but I think it could still like bring some value to the world.
They just need to swoop up the Top Gun director, get him tapped for it. You know what I mean? Like,
becomes the Star Wars Top Gun.
yeah, I mean that's
That's
really
basically what it's coming about. Is you're just talking about the starfighter pilots. But do we honestly, like I keep on saying, do we need little shows for every single
I mean, they got
category of character?
They paid $5 billion for that shit. Yeah, like yeah, I guess. But like, you know, Rogue Squadron is something where it could be separate. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be directly connected to anything. It could be its own standalone. Like that, I'm fine. It's like the only thing I feel that Star Wars doesn't need is expanding on what we've been expanding on for like the last like 40 years or whatever. You know, 40 plus, I guess. You know, I don't care what they tap into as long as I'm not being like shoveled member berries. You know, it's like I don't want to see reference to.
They're always going to put a reference in it, though.
Oh,
If
of
there
course.
is no
I mean,
reference,
if they
Star Wars
sprinkle it in, like,
fans are
I'm
gonna
cool
go
with
nuts.
that. But I would rather have more like world building and like character building,
Yeah.
rather than member berries.
The whole Old Republic, that whole pre-Old Republic era that they're going to be tapping into. You know, I mean, that'll be like their first attempt at really truly getting away from it, where they can't reference it. Like they might reference the prophecy, you know, that's like rarely referenced to in the movies, which would be okay, you know, as long as it matches up to like when in Legends that they say that this prophecy came about. But you know, overall, it's like I'm fine with them kind of dabbling with other shit. So it's like, yeah, I mean, I guess. Again, if it's forced, then whatever. But you know, if it's just a dope, you know, series about some fighter pilots who go out and do, you know, gunner missions and shit against the Empire, like I'm down. Like that's cool. Like I like a lot of like what Star Wars is doing with their aerial, you know, fights right now, like in shows like Mando and shit, right?
Yeah, they're pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've been top notch so far.
Yeah, so like I'm cool with the show being based around that, where like the focus is the dope flying. Like I like that game, you know, on the N64, and I don't think it's gonna be based on that, but like you know what I mean. Like I like that. I like Star Wars Squadrons, you know,
It's
super
just
good
Star
game.
Fox.
Yes, like Star Fox has more lore than fucking Rogue Squadron and shit, and it's like okay, well if they want to fill that lore, then so be it.
So it's like I'm going in with this idea is like, when is Star Wars too much?
Yeah, no, this shit's gonna be around for 100 years, bro. Disney
Now
got their hold on. You just gotta
now
deal
that
with that.
they just released this whole line of history in the movies now.
Yeah. I mean, now that they tapped into the Old Republic, they can go on
Yeah,
forever.
this is
Like
exactly
it's thousands
what's
of
going on.
years. It's not hundreds or tens of years. You know, it's
it's
thousands of years.
I just don't want to see every character getting a spin-off series on Disney Plus.
I mean, I think you are. You know what I mean? Like, I think they're gonna.
Do we need Lando? Is he that important to?
Like,
the
I
story?
think we can separate from that. But if they want to have like Old Republic shit, where it's like you get attached to certain characters and new stories, and there's spin-offs, like, all right, whatever, I'm done. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm here for. I can't get too like
I
crazy.
can see Squadrons being its own thing, you know.
Yeah, but it's as long as it like, you know, Red 7 is like the other show and it's like a spin-off of like one of the characters and you know, like
Red
fuck
7.
that.
Oh, God.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
I guess
like
it just depends on when Jenkins wants to finish her other project.
yeah, I mean they just might not want her because Wonder Woman 84 or whatever was like atrocious and shit. Super bad. Looked super bad. Was like corny. Like everything about it was bad. So don't know.
Lucasfilms is like, we're gonna reconsider.
Basically, they're like, yeah, we're gonna sit on that. Actually,
We kind of saw what you did in the last movie.
They don't want to say no, but they'll shelve the whole project for a half decade and shit. All right, so next one on here, Mandalorian showrunners confirm Mando and Grogu are no longer the only main characters of the show. Is this becoming a Bo-Katan series?
I'm still sticking to my theory that it's all about Grogu becoming the Mandalorian.
I mean, A whole lot of time. I mean, yeah. I mean, it could be because I mean, essentially, especially with this talk of like the birth of the Force and stuff like that, like it could very well tap into like what Yoda type beings are. You know what I mean? Like it could very well, because I mean, Grogu grows at such a slow rate that it could be like he is. You know, because the first. I think wasn't it like the first Mandalorian was a Jedi, so
That's how the saber dark saber became, because
we got a lot of that moving around, you know, like it could very well be that he is or she, I don't know what Grogu is, but like Grogu is the next one to bridge the gap there, you know, like
right.
Bo-Katan is bridging the gap between like the Mandalorian, the sect, and then the people, and then maybe you have Grogu who like, you know, he binds that wedge between, or he fills that gap between the Jedi and the Mandalorian, you know. Could be sick, but I mean, we're talking about outliving all the other characters by like decades before you even get to like juicy shit for that character. And then it'd be kind of weird because he's no longer like the cutesy character that you just like to see hop around and shit. And he could be like this weird, freakish young Yoda looking thing, like a teenage Groot type shit, you know, where it's like, oh, that's weird. I miss the old Groot.
Tired of him doing acrobatic flips though.
What do you mean? That's his superpower right now. Essentially, it's like all he can do.
Lizzo's arms, and I was like, "Where's he going?"
Yeah, like super fast, like no hesitation. Yeah, I mean, they are.
I still don't trust Bo.
Yeah, you say that. I mean, could mention that on next week's show and see what Garrett thinks, but
yeah.
No,
she has a look on her face. I don't trust it.
It could very well just be, you know, an entire storyline. They can go on years about these characters learning to be the best they can be for like the Mandalorian like race and shit, and then it ends with just the Mandalorians being back, you know, and being like full power again, and you know, up to snuff, completely like connected, and like, you know, no longer having this like judgy, you know, premise between them all, you know, the whole like always wearing masks and like have all that shit gone and just be like a society again. Take back. I mean, I don't know how they're gonna take back Mandalore. It's like damaged from like crystals and shit, but like, you know, maybe they rebuild, you know. But that's what they're That's what they're implying, right? Is like, you know, Bo-Katan is essentially like the main character of the show now. It's like, yeah.
No, especially now that he handed over the darksaber.
Yeah, it's like I don't want that. Like that's my problem, and I let my opinion out on Twitter. But it's like, yeah, it's cool. Like I made before the show, we were talking, and I mentioned it's like he should be like the Mad Max character, where the story is always about him, but it's really about him stumbling into other people's business. Yeah. So it's like, yeah, maybe prop up Bo-Katan for like this season, and then next season, you know, Mando's off to do another adventure with Grogu and like get involved with other characters and have other member berries to milk, you know. But I don't want it to become just a show about like Mandalorians and everybody else's personal shit and all this, you know. I was really hoping that it was going to be that Western, you know, the cowboy strolls into town type shit, you know. What do you guys think? You think they're going to be changing it and shifting it to kind of like an all-encompassing Mandalorian show, and with her being like this prophetic character?
I have a feeling it's leaning towards that now, but again, we'll have to see. Like, I'm kind of hoping it's not. Like, yeah, I wish it would be more of that, like, he stumbles across things and like
it's kind of how it's been.
Goes out. Yeah, and now I feel like it's going away from that.
Almost seems like a little bit of a bait and switch. Like they don't have the line set just yet. You know what I mean? Like it's on the cheek, but it's not hooked.
It doesn't feel like Mandalorian is like dying out as Boba Fett was.
Yeah,
and you know, where they had to bring in Mando to like kind of revive it.
Yeah,
and then it just became, you know, Mandalorian 2.5.
Yeah.
So I don't want to see it change.
Yeah, I just like the
now just go to a different character and then now a whole new story
Yeah.
evolves.
That's kind of my thing. It's like if they want to do a spin-off of that and have her go, fuck off and do her thing and shit, then so be it. I'd prefer Mandalorian stay within the same lane as it's been, and it's like Dave Filoni is like it almost seems, and I put it on here. It's the next one on here. I mean, I could talk about it, but it kind of feels like he's just had all this like pent up, excitement for all these other characters that he's obsessed and been involved with, over the years and shit. Ahsoka, Thrawn, and now kind of like, Bo-Katan was one of his creations, if I'm not mistaken, right?
I believe so. Yeah. I mean, I think her first, appearance was in Rebels.
Yeah, and it almost seems like he's hopping on, what Jon Favreau set up. I'm sure he was involved in the beginning and all this shit, but it almost seems like they let it become this thing that everybody loves, and now it's becoming kind of like a little, project, a little pet project for Dave Filoni to really just kind of geek out on his own personal obsessions with all these other characters that he personally made. And it's like, I like kind of Mando. It's like you can, that's why I don't mind like Ahsoka being in and then being out. You know what I mean? Like she dipped in, she dipped out, and it was cool. It was fine, and like Luke was stretching, but it was kind of just to like get the neck beards like crying and shit, which it worked.
Yeah.
It was super dope to see all that shit. You get to see Jedi Master Luke in full glory and shit. Like who doesn't love that? But it kind of seems now like he might be steering the ship in a different direction. It's like no, like fuck off, leave him alone. So we'll see. Maybe that's, they didn't say anything if it's long stretching plans to change the show for everything and just kind of redirect it. Like hopefully they kind of come back and focus around those two. But with more Dave Filoni news, he's going to be getting his own movie. It's going to be based on the New Republic post Return of the Jedi, with the New Republic defending against the remnant Empire forces. Not confirmed to be like a Mando finale, but I guess kind of in that same time frame, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah.
Which would be cool, because you still have that, right? Like that's kind of what's going on in Mando right now, right? It's like,
yeah,
that premise that they're lurking in the shadows is like a cool one that they can expand on. So I think that's what Dave Filoni is more so referring to, and that's going to be a film, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
The next one on here, Bachelorette producer Leslie Headland's show Acolyte, to be told from a Sith perspective, be kind of cool. But she summarized it as Frozen meets Kill Bill.
Where do you get that? Where does that come from?
The way that she described it was like Frozen. It's all the mushy shit, like
Is
all
it just, do you want to build a snowman?
if they break out into a goddamn song.
Well, it was more of like the bonds between family and friends and yada yada yada. All the underlying like sentimental storylines of Frozen
That
combined with
pay attention to,
because no, it's like more so like the deep nature of like that, and then combined with she used Kill Bill because it's really the best current day example of like a martial arts movie. Could be any martial arts movie. It's just
John Wick.
they just want to add like kind of maybe, but he's more so gunplay. But I mean, they could use any martial arts movie as an example. So
Crouching Tiger.
That would be dope. Like they're all like running on trees and shit.
Just floating around.
Everything's all bendy and weird and shit.
Yeah.
Yes, we'll see. There was, I think, a trailer for it. You can't see any of these trailers because they do that whole, only the X amount of people that could squeeze into this room. Not everybody at this event that paid for it, but only the people that could squeeze into this room are able to see this trailer and shit. But they did that for a few things. Skeleton Crew as well.
Honestly, though, like if it leads to like how like just a story like into the Sith and like how they train up their their apprentices and whatnot like that, I mean that could be an interesting
Whole judgment on this one. Let's see what Garrett thinks about that one. what is it? Charmin Obaid Chinoy to lead a film set 15 years after Rise of Skywalker, featuring Daisy Ridley as Rey, as she works to rebuild the Jedi Order, or build a new Jedi Order.
Interesting. This came out like last week, right? Like before.
I don't recall.
Or this week.
I was a bit busy.
Yeah.
Flying around and shit. I was trying to stay on top of like the news as it popped up, but I might have missed something.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't. It does feel kind of like disjointed, like how it was left. It's like, okay, so the Jedi Order is just dead.
Right.
There's probably still Sith out there and shit, but at least this character got some closure. Like you know what I mean? Like, I guess like they did leave it open ended. So I mean, we'll see. I mean, I do want some type of closure with like the Jedi's being back, but I mean, they don't have enough gumption to get through. Like, okay, all the temples are rebuilt, and like the Jedi Council is back, and like yada yada yada. Like, I don't think they're gonna go.
Rey's gonna rebuild it all.
Yeah, like I don't think they're not gonna have that much into it. And, this is a film, so I'm not sure how much story they're gonna be able to get out of it in like 2 hours.
3 hours.
You know what I mean? Yeah, or 3 hours max, I guess. I don't know. Like, is it a start of like new films? Are they gonna bring back Finn and do my boy right? Like, who knows? He's lightening up. He used to be pretty hostile towards Star Wars, but now he's like, whatever. And shit. It's like, this fool's getting...
Yeah, because he wants that paycheck.
He's got
the
some
money
calls.
that they're producing.
Yeah, he's got some bills to pay.
Yeah, he's got some calls. They're probably like, are you sure you wouldn't come back even if we did something a little different?
Fanning hundreds of dollars while they're...
Yeah, he's not as against Disney as he was a year ago. So he probably got a phone call.
He said 10 million? Okay.
Yeah. And like I mentioned earlier, High Republic book series announced and has the adult, middle grade, and YA novels. Depending. I mean, I get, public library, everybody out there. These books do pop up at your public library, and you can just download an app on your phone and get a library card, and you can get these audiobooks and just pop them out. You know what I mean? Like, I've requested Thrawn multiple times and failed to listen to the audiobooks every single time that I've gotten them, but at least I've participated in the process and shit. It can be done. If you want these books, you can listen to them.
You are what's wrong with the process.
I just soak them up and I'm the asshole. I'm like, I can listen to it Saturday and shit, and then it just comes and goes. It's like, damn it, I'm running out of time.
Just waiting for it.
Yeah, I know. I've turned them in early, all right, knowing that I wasn't going to get to it. But I got a kid, so I can't have headphones in at all times. It sucks. So yeah, that was pretty much it. I mean, there's news still pumping out. It's all some news earlier. People up on stage talking, yada yada. Like I said, we'll have some game news popping up probably tomorrow. We're recording this on Saturday, so we got Jedi. What is it? Jedi Survivor.
Yeah.
There's many Star Wars games in productions right now. You know what I mean? Eclipse is another one that I'm hopefully gonna hear some information about. You have KOTOR remake or remastered or whatever for PlayStation, which your boy has a PS5 now, so he's definitely interested in that. So I mean, there's some shit to talk about, and we'll have Garrett on next week. He'll go over everything we talked about today in more detail and flesh out and answer questions and shit like that, as well as we'll summarize the rest of the stuff that popped up over this Star Wars celebration over in the EU.
I just want to see Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
Yeah, I mean, she's married to Obi-Wan. Ewan
McGregor.
Yeah. I think they're married, right? So I mean, I'm sure that had nothing to do with her getting the role, but I guess it's a pretty beloved character, I guess, from one of the shows. I'm not sure. Garrett's probably like pulling his hair out, but I forget who she's.
Is it part? Oh, Hera. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, playing Hera. Was it Rebels?
Yeah.
Yeah. All those characters, all the like
Rebels.
Ahsoka characters are gonna be from Rebels. So like in the last episode, or not this last, or 2 episodes ago from Mandalorian, you had Zeb, who was part of. He was like that big blue CGI guy.
Oh yeah.
In the beginning, he's from Rebels.
Yeah, he was the first live action character
Yeah.
from Rebels.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. But moving on, EA PGA Tour releases. I didn't get to play it on the first day that it came out because
Get my money back.
was down, I was down in California away from my PC. But
I got sent home from work that night early, and I was hopped on, so excited, and then it fell to disappointment.
I mean, you got it on early release, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I mean,
I played it that night
there was an update that did fix some performance issues for me.
for PCs.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know the console situation, but I did get some issues sorted out. There's obviously some bugs and stuff. I mean, this is the first game that they've made for golf in fucking, what has it been, like 7 years or some shit, since Roy McIlroy's PGA Tour, which I don't know if you've played, but I have it. I own it for Xbox. It is ass cheeks, dude. Like, that game is bad. It's like overly simple and then also bad at the same time. So like they just gave up, you know. So this is a completely new system. I knew there was going to be some bugs. The only bug that really pisses me off personally is the lag in the middle of your swing that you'll get sometimes. I have some notes here about some things. Lucas, do you have a little list of gripes by any chance?
I need more instruction of what does what. Okay, because my controller rumbles in my backswing, and I don't know what that means.
Do you see the line like separating from the backswing line?
No.
It's probably just gradual tension. It's supposed to be like
I don't know what that
symbolizing.
means.
It's
Tell me
probably
what it
supposed to
means.
symbolize like your rotation.
How about you give me instruction? I don't like some like quick tutorial.
Yeah,
Why
I
don't you
mean,
just turn that shit off?
I need to understand what it means, because it's not even an overswing. Like, it's not telling me it's like, oh, you're gonna overswing right now, or and it's not even a subtle one. It's just my controller starts rumbling, and then I swing, and it's like a perfect shot. So I'm like, what does this do?
I did hook up my DualShock 5, I think it is, or whatever the PlayStation 5 controller is. I did hook that up to my Steam Link, which is what I use to play when I'm like in the bedroom, to stream games from my desktop to my TV. There is a lag, and it was infuriating, but you know, you kind of get around it. Well, I mean, you don't experience it. I'm talking about the lag that you get when you
From the controller.
When you relay a game from one device to another device remotely into a different room,
I thought
you get lag.
lag in your backswing.
Can't even play like 2K, like, 23, like, NBA, because taking free throw shots is like impossible to like time shit, because you have to let go super early. Just like there's a general lag, and that's why like cloud gaming is kind of like frowned upon, just because they're very far away from eliminating any type of lag when you're playing remotely from the device in which you're actually playing. When you're plugged into a PS5 and you're getting lag, like, that's genuine game issue, and that lag is there. And I discussed it prior. It's like I gotta hold back some of my judgment, because I'm not sure what their approach is this time around. Like, one of my gripes, and I deleted the tweet, but like I'd gripe that you can't putt off the fringe, and after you upgrade some of your attributes, it allows you to putt off the fringe and have like Texas wedges and shit. Now my thing was like, I'm going for like an amateur approach to like, or an amateur position at the Masters, and I'm just learning how to putt off the fringe and shit. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck? So I mean, it could very well be like that lag, that disconnect that you get sometimes in your backswing is how they're randomizing your control attributes. You know what I mean? Like, maybe that shit disappears when, you're maxed out and there is no more shit. I mean, it does feel like genuine lag though. Like when you're swinging it back 2/3 in the backswing,
and then it stutters,
and you're about to like slow down the swing, and then it just keeps going. The swing just keeps going. It doesn't react to what your finger does, and it's infuriating.
And it's not even like uniform too, where you could say like, okay, so I'm just gonna stop it short. It's random. Like you're like, oh, I'm gonna stop it short on this swing, and it just goes above and beyond into like overswing.
Now, given there are different types of swing methods that you could play, we're talking about like the standard bring back on the plane, and you could see the line where you're supposed to stop. I do feel that the different shot types makes it really confusing on actually stopping it where you want. There is no indicator as to where the point of your backswing actually is in reference to the line that you're supposed to stop it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like there is no little like green line to signify where the actual head is on that plane. It's just your golf club. So it's like you're just kind of guessing initially like where it would actually stop, you know, in reference to the club head. That's kind of frustrating. Another thing I have on here, your player doesn't need to celebrate every shot. What the fuck? Am I right?
I was doing one of the challenges, the one where you have to get like 3 shots on the green from
Yeah.
like the tee box.
Yeah.
And Liz was like next to me, and I think I went like dead right. Same exact swing. So I get the first ball on the green. Okay, cool. Same exact swing, goes dead right. I'm like, what the fuck? And then the dude's like fist pumping. He's like, yeah. I'm like, what are you doing? No, you don't celebrate every single
Yeah.
swing. It's
Yeah.
like, come on, man.
Well, I mean, it's like you'll putt. You know, you're putting for birdie, a long birdie, and you get the putt 3 feet from the hole on your lag putt, and then he like fist pumps and shit.
I'm like,
And then
dude,
it's like
you still got 3 feet to go, bro.
You tap in a 2-footer, you know, or you tap in whatever your leftover putt is, and then he fist pumps again and shit. And then you like hit on the green, just a normal par 3, you're like sitting 32 feet away, and you get like a fist pump. And it's like they're different animations, but at the same time, it's like, why is he so fucking excited? Like, watch golf.
He's an amateur, bro.
Like, watch golf and tell me that these fools don't act like this, like, or tell me they act like that. You know what I mean? Like, they don't.
I can go without a lot of animations and make this game go a lot faster.
Well, just make it look like he's, you know, because you're trying to look like a little bit of a badass when you're out there. You know, you're trying to look composed. You know, you're trying to look professional. That is part of the image of the game. You know what I mean? Like, why not just have him do that? Pick up his tee with confidence before the ball lands. You know what I mean? Like that type of shit. Like I knew,
putt,
yeah,
just
the
walk it in.
walk-in putts.
That'd be dope.
You know, just mix it up. Like what is this? And like
Not the
Fortnite can
Kevin
have
Na
all these
walk-in,
different. No, fuck that fool. I got a story about Kevin Na. Actually, it was. Damn, am I about to say that? Am I about to out the
Damn,
Kevin
are you
Na
gonna-
story?
I was about to say, yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, your brother was there. It was at Industry
Ooh.
Hills.
6.5 hours later.
I mean, he's just known for that what is it, 18th hole, like 16 shots or whatever. Where
Yes.
he like went to the tree like 7 times.
Yeah.
It was like 3 times
Hacking
off the
around.
tees, like hitting like 7.
Yeah, beautiful. Anyways, EA PGA Tour. You know, going over some more of these gripes.
I'm gonna give it some time.
I mean, we
I'm gonna
really
give it some more
should.
time.
I'm not gonna return it. This
It's
is
literally,
wait
it's
for it. I
literally
can't
the
return
first
it.
weekend.
yeah.
Like you,
I mean, just summarizing, this is feel wise, the way it looks, the animations, the swings, the way things kind of react. It's a little funky on like the putting strokes. It's a little weird.
The course designs are beautiful, though. I give it that.
The courses, it's all of our favorites. You know, they're back.
Banded Dunes is fucking hard.
It's everywhere. Every fucking challenge I play is on Bandon Dunes. However, I mean, I did play Torrey, beautiful. It's my old home course down in San Diego. We've all played it. I think Kenny, that's like your lowest score ever, wasn't it?
yeah.
Yeah. So like, very very sentimental on that one. It's gorgeous. Loved it. Pebble Beach, Augusta, you know, stadium courses on there. I think they got PGA West. I didn't even play yet. Played there multiple times. You know what I mean? It's like, it's got all the goods. You know, and people talking about, it's like, if you like simulators, you like 2K. If you like arcades, then you like EA. It's like,
No, it's
shut the
other way
fuck
around.
up. Like, just because I can smash A to control, like, you know, backspin and shit like that, you can turn that off. You know what I mean? And then it's all of a sudden it's just as simulator-ish as 2K. You know, but
No,
the
I
thing
think it's the
that,
other way around.
but like the way that EA plays, it has its own, like, it's always had its own type, you know, little flair. And being able to smash A and you get your slow down animations and shit like that, like the big shots and all that, like, that's what makes it hype. You know what I mean? Like, that's not cheapening it to this arcade level of experience. Regardless, the swing animations mixed with the course selection makes the game infinitely better. And Although it can be purchased with money, like all the shit in the store, none of it seems to affect your stats. And they got some fucking sick clubs in there, dude. Like sick clothes, sick clubs. They got, FootJoy Traditions, Classics. They got Tour 360s. They got Jordans. Like they got, they got the Masters clothes this week. But, I was able to buy a set of Mutas. Sick ass matte black Muta blades. There's Vokey, right? Sick.
You got your 3-iron.
Yeah, I fucking got my 3-iron. They actually let you like have a normal set of golf clubs. Like what the fuck? Like oh my god.
You ain't gonna hit a
That was the first
five hybrid?
Yeah, I'm not gonna hit a fucking
Yeah.
5 hybrid when instead of a fucking 6-iron and shit. Like
That was the first
absolutely.
thing I texted you guys though when I was like, going through it when I got home. I was
Yeah.
like, they got a 3-iron.
Hey. It feels good. Like there's a feeling there as a golf game where it's like, okay, this feels good. It feels like a solid foundation to make better versions of it, make updates and stuff like that. I think the crowd should react when they get hit. I did.
I hit a couple people and they just bounced off of
It just
all,
bounces off them. I need
They
somebody.
all looked at their phones and I was
Remember
like,
back in the
"You
day, you could,
seriously
like-
got phones?"
Remember back in the day, you could like club people in like the knee and like they'd fall to the ground
Yeah,
and like
they'd
rise from the
fall.
ground. So like
Yeah.
that's what I'm talking about. That's what I need. And shit. And like maybe even have like a quick animation where if you wanted to play through, you hand him like a signed glove and shit. You know what I mean? Like stupid shit like that. Let's do the shit that makes it feel like golf. The caddy is sick. That was always an idea, and I'm gonna say these are my ideas because I've been railing on them for like 15 years. But I've always wanted a caddy to be visible, and where like just on screen visible, that you're not just some golfer on a golf course walking around and playing and shit. But by having a caddy present makes it feel like, oh, okay, this is a tournament. Practice swings, you could see him kind of standing near you and like reading off like stats and shit like that. Feels good. You know what I mean? So that's one thing that I appreciate. One gripe I have on here, and this is an observation. Remember back in the day, like the this goes for any sports game, but the crowd is like the same 10 characters or 8 characters, and they just like stamp them. And
Yeah,
it's like they're all in the same
multiply, yeah.
position and they're all moving at the same time, and just like it's like blue guy is in 9 different positions doing the exact same animations but just like
Right.
spread out. This one I noticed they kind of did that same thing, but what they did was they randomized what characters stand where, so they'll swap. So it's like you might see somebody sitting in like a little chair, like a lawn chair type thing, and that character might be pasted around, but it'll be a different color chair and it'll be a different person sitting in the seat. You know what I mean? It's like the animations are the same per that character, but it's a little more randomized. So they're varying up on that. But I do feel that, it's still a little distracting in that sense where it's like, you should have people walking around. We've ever been to a golf tournament? We've all have. People walk around like there's not a fucking golf tournament going on. They're like talking to one another and shit and like walking down the cart paths and, looking at one another and chatting and laughing, and then other people are walking and looking at the golf while they're walking by, and some people are hide up behind a tree because they're scared of getting hit. They're just paranoid because they probably have been fucking clocked in the head at one point and shit like that. You know what I mean? Like there are people that are sitting in landing zones and not giving a single fuck as to where the ball's coming from, and those are the people that get clocked. You know what I mean? They're sitting fairway, fairway side, rough. At 310 yards, on the right side of the fairway, and they're just like sitting there having their mimosa and talking with like their aunt and shit. It's like everybody should be doing something a little bit different. So I feel like there should be a little bit more, kind of flushing out of how the NPCs operate, because that's a big part of it. You don't have to worry about it when it's not big tournaments, but it's like that's where a lot of the focus should be, is like making the experience itself feel like a genuine tournament. What the fuck is up with the opponent's ball still being in the hole when you finish? Did you see that shit,
It's
Lucas?
bad luck, dude. Just want to take out.
Like, what is that? Like, I think that's
He's like,
against
hey,
the
bro, I
rules.
put
I'm
my
not
ball in the
mistaken.
hole. That means your ball doesn't go in the hole.
It like bounces out and shit.
It's like a fucking mind fuck.
There are little things like that.
Well, let alone seeing the AI dude's decision making is kind of
Yeah.
very, very fucking random.
I was streaming that in the Discord just before when we were waiting for like Kenny to show up and stuff. Lucas was watching, and I drained a putt or whatever, and I was doing one of the challenges, and I had a champ. He had to make a putt, and he was on the lip of the hole. And this is like, I don't know, 3 or 4 blades of grass away from the falling in, you know, like
dude.
you couldn't, it looked like the thing was like floating on the hole, you know? So he walks up and he sets up and then he turns like 90 degrees away from the hole. And then he putts and it doesn't even look like he hits the ball, but then he jumps back like he got hit, you know? And he was having like a freak out moment. And it turns out that he did hit it. It moved probably 1 blade of grass and stopped on the lip like the same distance away. And then he goes up and hits the putt and like hits it in. It's like, what the fuck was that?
Chubbed
Like,
the putt. Can you
like,
chub a putt?
what was that? Why was the
Is that
hole
even
between your feet and the ball? Like, what are you doing? It just-
Well, the fact is that he was like staring off into the distance watching the sunset.
yeah.
Well, he's trying to make it like a 2-inch putt, and then
Yeah.
he whiffs at that. But then I saw like another one where like the dude was playing Augusta, and Tony Finau was in his group, and Finau just turns around to the right of the green where his ball landed, and then doesn't chip it onto the green. He chips it to the right of the green and goes down the hill. And the guy that was like streaming it, he's like, I have no idea what just happened right now.
I mean,
And
it's doing some stupid shit. Like, it's doing some really stupid shit where it's like,
But it's not even like plausible shit though. It's
Yeah.
like, dude, why is this even possible? Like,
yeah. Definitely, you know, some beta shit. I'm thinking that level of stupidity was probably pre day 1 patch. You know, a lot of the stupid shit was pre day 1 patch, which did drop.
That's where I'm stuck.
I'm not sure where you're sitting at in terms of like console, if they've had any like updates or whatever.
I've been searching deep and I can't find anything about a patch coming
Can't
my
find
way.
any patch notes about this game like at all. They're not very active on like Steam in terms of like updating and shit like that. It's all like, buy our game, the release date's this, you know, buy this package, yada yada.
It's not like Activision where you turn on your console, it's like, hey, you got an update, restart.
I mean,
You
I
got an
guess
update, restart.
I could check whatever the EA app is that it uses to like open up, which is the app that allows all the consoles and everything to cross save progress. But what else? I mean, random lag spikes during swing. That was my biggest gripe. And they should allow automatic putt outs. You know what I mean? Like if I'm sitting 2 feet away and AI hits it up against the lip, like just finish out the putt, bro. Like that was something that was in EA games before, but they don't have it in this one. So that's all I
You
have.
can turn on the 1 foot, 2 foot, 3 foot.
Oh,
gimmies.
can you?
Yeah.
Oh, well.
But I don't know if that's for the AI or that's just for you though. But I know you can turn that on.
Yeah, like I don't really want maybe like 1 foot. You know what I mean? It really
Well,
should
like,
be.
the 1 foot you have to set up. You have to look at the your guys like looking at the hole.
Oh, yeah,
And then
yeah.
you got to click the button to set up to the ball. And
Which
then,
a golfer's not going to set up completely for a putt that short anyways.
Yeah.
They're going to do the 1 foot lean in
1 foot,
like all
yeah.
golfers do. And they should let you do that. You know what I mean? Like maybe even make it really quick where you could fuck it up, but it's just this animation where he walks up to the hole 1 foot forward.
just that casual putt.
Yeah.
right in.
And he goes, and then you have to maybe react, or you get one of those like embarrassing moments on TV where you see somebody do that like 3 times back to back. You ever seen those?
Ernie Els.
Yeah, like they pull an Ernie Els and shit. You know what I mean? Like they should do that type of shit. So I don't know. It kind of seems like the game was rushed a little bit. I did post on, I am defending it on Twitter. Got a
Give me
little
the
spicy.
drunk golf game though. I want that one where like
Yeah, bringing daily.
you're bringing in, you're like chugging in a beer hole.
The daily
And by, like,
DLC
12.
that'll come out on July 3rd.
All his Hooters stuff.
Yeah, all the Hooters
Crown
loud
Royale
ass
bottles all
clothes.
around him on the floor.
I mean, he's like living the dream and shit. He's out there
Yeah.
playing golf like barefoot and shit, not giving a fuck. Drinking constantly. What do you say? What's the cure for a hangover? Is drink the same shit you drank before.
Yep.
Yeah.
Spark up a cigarette and just keep going about your day.
He's just living that old school golf life, not giving a fuck.
I think he was like up at Augusta and like he was at like the local Hooters and like there was an insane crowd,
I mean, it's
like
daily.
him just like signing
He's,
everything.
he's just like a no fucks given type of guy.
Oh,
Always
yeah.
has been.
Oh
though.
yeah.
Always has been. But now he's like aged into it to where he doesn't really have to give a fuck at all. So yeah, I mean, I don't know any other gripes. Kenny didn't get the game, even though he said he was. Son of a bitch.
Not yet. Hey,
I hereby strip you, and I said I was going to do this. I hereby strip you of your champion title. You're no longer going to get the T announcement of champ is here because the champ is not here, motherfucker. The champ is
yet.
not here. He doesn't have
Lying in
it.
wait.
He got MLB the show.
that's right.
I mean,
I'm
he didn't even
having a
buy that.
blast
That's
with
on Game Pass.
You motherfucker.
whatever.
I mean, I would have, like I said, I would have got it for fucking PlayStation if I knew that. I would have played with this bitch over here.
And then you would have been complaining even more about
The lag and shit like that.
Yeah.
I mean, the PlayStation does operate faster in terms of like loading screens and shit like that. I haven't put it to its full test yet. I got Miles Morales, which is all right. I kind of feel like I've played that game before. And God of War came with it. So yeah, I mean that's it for my little gripe about EA PGA Tour. If you're diehard 2K and the game is amazing and you know you like the golf club mechanics, or you don't know that 2K was just a skin of the Golf Club 19, then you know I'm sure you're gonna be like, yeah, PGA Tour sucks. But you know, as far as golfers go, when we play 2K, we notice all the stupid shit. Like at least the stupid shit that I'm seeing in EA PGA Tour is like game related. You know what I mean? Like I'm not seeing fucking balls teed up 3 inches to hit a 7-iron and shit. You know what I mean? Like those little small details that a golfer notices have been fleshed out in the PGA Tour. And the swing is sick. I don't think there's very much variation, and definitely character design or character designer and swing animator and all that shit is really lacking. But the store is dope. It's nice to see like new shit come through. Feels opportunistic. It makes you want to play challenges to earn credits so that you can be ready for when that black pair of J's drop in the store, or the chrome Murta blades, or those tour, you know, those TP irons or what have you, you know.
Do you guys know what you win for like the online tournaments?
I'm sure it's XP and credit. That kind of seems like what they're going
Okay.
for, like the gold credits.
Oh, you know what you got to get on?
What?
You got to go to EA for the PGA Tour forum and get in on these forums, because I'm not
They're
the only one asking for a
popping
refund.
I mean, the PGA Tour games was bad after Tiger left, before they stopped making golf games. And the way that I see it is that, you know, this is light years better than what Rory McIlroy was, the game, you know. And 2K feels like it's going to be the exact same game for the next decade. So I need something new. And EA can bankroll some progress in this game, you know. Not to mention the EA, you know, EA Sports to the game. Like I needed that.
Yeah, it wasn't
back.
there, right?
No, it's there.
Was it?
Yeah, it shows.
Okay.
It shows a bunch of different like.
You just wanted to mash through all their menus.
Yeah, he mashed through all the good shit. I don't even think he can. But it's the same guy, so he got his royalties. Good for him. I just feel that it's a lot more likely that it'll be fixed with EA. It's sad to say because I despise EA for the most part, but I feel that it's more likely to be fixed with EA than it will be for 2K. Especially like if you're looking like a decade down the line, like the same problems that you have in 2K are going to be there, you know? That's just their MO. Anybody that plays NBA knows that they focus on everything else other than making the game better. So, you know, here's to a new renaissance of golf games. And Augusta looks amazing. Torrey looks amazing. All these courses, you can't play them. You got to practically break the law to play them in 2K and shit. So, just use it for that. Enjoy the courses. So moving on to the roundup here, we got some trailers dropping this week. First one was Secret Invasion, featuring Samuel L. Jackson. What do you guys think about that one?
Look good, look interesting. Like I'm always excited to see what the next iteration like to the MCU is.
Yeah, I mean this one's gonna have a lot of influence in regards to the entirety of like the next.
Yeah, like the
you know.
next wave of movies.
Yeah, that's a big storyline. I mean, you got Secret Invasion, you got Secret Wars, right?
Yeah, Secret Wars is coming up.
Yeah, that's going to be alongside King Dynasty. So there's a lot of crazy shit going on. These are the movies you're going to want to pay attention to. This one's going to be like a spy thriller. Who is who? You know what I mean? Like they're shapeshifters,
Right.
and that's kind of always been the premise. Even within the Avengers, you know, like the infiltration shit like that.
I think
So
like even like towards the end they got like Super Scroll in there.
it's gonna be good. I mean, I you know I like Samuel L. Jackson, so give him all the work he can while he can, you know.
No
Yeah.
eye patch either.
And no eye patch. Yeah, he gets that like funky ass eye and shit. I mean, it looks good. I mean, it's like you said, just kind of progressing, you know, the storyline of the MCU and where is it going. Next one on here was Blue Beetle. That's a DC film. It's a Latino character, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's the dude from
from Karate Kid.
Karate Kid, the
Hmm.
Netflix series.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't look too much into it. I did watch it. I know it's kind of going to be like a flyover movie for DC because everything is on its way to the big reset in Flash, and then what character is going to carry over. What do you guys think of like the way that it looked though? Because like to me, it kind of still looked like it looked like it was trying to be like an action like superhero film, but it still kind of felt like a little like cheap.
Was it Venom? Did you get a
Basically,
Venom?
like it did
Yeah.
kind of get like a Venom.
I got
It
a
was
Venom
pretty
vibe.
gross, like how it took over, kind of like Alien and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Was
mean, I hope like this character is actually a cool character and like how he becomes Blue Beetle. So I hope it's good. It looks
Scarab, right? Like it's a alien scarab or whatever.
Yeah.
And then he's not supposed to open it, and then opens it.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, was he being harmed? Like, does it hurt him? It looked like it was like ripping his skin.
It
and shit,
kind-
like
it
was
kind
coming
of-
out.
well,
I
it, like-
got out of it. I was like, what
yeah,
is happening
and it
right
like
now?
morphs to his body, like, and I forget, like, I don't think it comes off unless there's like certain things have to happen for it to actually like detach from his body.
I don't know.
But
It
now
looked
he's like
painful.
one with it. Yeah,
It looked painful when he was changing. Like he was being like like an exorcism type shit.
yeah. It was like
Possessed.
burning onto his body, like burnt off all his clothes and shit.
Looked cool, and then for everything from there kind of just looked generic. You know what I mean?
Well,
and then
it's got George Lopez in it. So
and it does
think
have
it
George
was-
Lopez. He was
yeah,
having
I
like a
think-
sentimental role,
No.
Yeah, in like a video or a tweet or something, it's gonna be like
Driven
influenced.
film. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, no more.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, like I said, it still has that like Warner Brothers cheapness look to it, where it's like the CGI just looks still a little uncanny, and we're not quite there. So it's like, yeah, whatever, we'll see. But it really did kind of just give off like Superman vibes once he's flying around and like doing things in space and shit. It's like, I've
Yeah.
seen this movie before. But like you said, it is kind of like a beloved character, and people do enjoy it. Maybe this is one of those films that like makes him like a super dope character and just a popular character. Next one on here, I'll just stick with trailers. I'll come back to this other one, but new trailer for Across the Spider-Verse drop. What do you guys think about this one? This one was where we have Spider-Man 2099 as being like the villain, right?
yeah. It looks good. Like, actually, like, I think the main villain is like that Spot dude or whatever his name is. I forget his name, but he's like he's like white and like has polka dots on him. I guess.
Polka Dot Man and shit.
I guess.
crossover.
Yeah, pretty
It's
much.
polka
Yeah.
dot.
2099 is Oscar Isaac. I mean, he's obviously aggro. I mean, he's got some
Yeah.
type of gripe with what's going on. He's not very happy. So, I mean, we'll see with that. But, I mean, everybody loves 2099, just that character. And the design is kind of cheesy, but it, like, held. And people kind of, like,
Yeah.
it's near and dear.
I mean, they even like they've even referenced like a lot of the MCU like Spider-Mans in this.
Yeah, they didn't make a reference to. I mean, I thought I saw something about that already, but whether or not it's it's the for a 1-for-1, that is 100% that character, or it could just be another universe very similar to the MCU, and
Yeah.
they could do so much with it, But I thought the trailer looked sick. I mean, the whole thing with the original movie was it took like 8 years to make, and it was very specific and being very tedious with it. Sony didn't have very much influence, and this one kind of seems like Sony smelled the blood in the water and shit. I guess it's the wrong analogy. They just they saw everybody very very
Right.
into this, and it's like, oh well, now let's milk it. So
Exactly.
it took less time to make it. It's got more characters, more Spider-Man, more everything, So that's how Sony does it. They've always done that, It's like almost they get depressed and they're like, whatever, man, just do whatever you want. And then that person does whatever they want and it becomes a huge hit. And then they get super excited and interested all of a sudden, and then they come in there and fuck it up. So we'll see. I don't know. I mean, it kind of seems like it'll be sick regardless, and I'll be there with bells on. Legendary Entertainment acquires the film and TV rights for Street Fighter. Sick.
yeah.
Like, I mean, like, didn't Legendary do the Mortal Kombat movie?
I think so.
I think so. Legendary Entertainment does make some dope shit. So, We'll see. I mean, there's definitely a story to be told there. I mean, we all know that the Jean-Claude Van Damme film from the 90s is the best video game adaptation of all time.
Yeah, you can't go into
He cannot be beat.
Just fucking coked out of his mind the whole time.
Yeah, basically.
That's great.
So I mean, we'll see. I mean, if they make it like super sick and these characters are like, oh, okay, yeah, hell yeah. And then we'll start getting spin-offs. Ryu, the series. Ken, the series.
Yeah.
Chun-Li, the movie series.
It's gonna all end up on Paramount.
Then yeah, it'll be on fucking Peacock or some shit. Yeah. Next one on here, live action Minecraft film announced starring Jason Momoa, coming April 4th, 2025. Discuss.
Who asked
Why
for
is-
this? Like,
who needed? They don't need
is this what he was like all giddy about when he was leaving?
Yeah, that's what he was. He was like, yes,
He's like,
fuck yeah.
I told you guys. I finally
I
got
fought for it. I fought for it. And we did this. We did it,
I'm
boys.
surprised The Rock didn't want this.
I know. Like this does sound like a Rock movie. Like he's like he probably had to fight him for it and shit.
Legit fight?
Momoa is more nimble. And shit. He has less less mass to slow him down and shit.
Well, it's all the
Yeah.
needle pricks from steroids. For
So I mean, what the fuck? I guess that's my response.
Good thing we got 2 years to wait for this thing.
Yeah,
we got 2 years for them to shelve it and be like, no,
Yeah,
this is actually
exactly.
a bad idea.
it's gonna be one of those like Jumanji things where he like gets sucked into the game, right? And then he's just
And what becomes blocked?
Probably.
he's just gonna be a character, and then it's just gonna be an animated game, like animation. You know what I mean? And it's gonna be one of those. Like I can already tell. There's no way they could do that where it wouldn't be stupid. Like what? Be a fucking miner in this weird world where like duck people walk around and shit. Whatever
Dude,
the
even
fuck those
Sean
things
Levy
are.
back in 2014 when it was proposed was like, nope,
Damn, it's been going on that long.
it's been going on for that long.
I can just chomping at the bit to get on that one. Holy shit. Yeah, well, what the fuck?
exactly.
Straight, just make it straight to Paramount. Paramount Plus. There you
Yeah.
go.
Again, Peacock.
Not even Tubi and shit.
Yeah, it's TV. Law and Crime Network acquires rights to Cops Reloaded.
Hell yeah.
I don't know now. I mean, I don't. It's not going to be the cops.
Yeah, it don't hit
It's
the
going to be
same way and
censored
shit.
to shit. It's going to be like, yeah, we got a call, and then that's it.
They're gonna have to. They're gonna have to edit out the scenes where like the police
Exactly,
dogs
where,
like
like,
rip off people's faces and shit. You ever seen that video? That's like holy shit. I've never
Where
seen
they,
anything like that.
we can't get on top of the suspect, so we're just going to hold him down with my hand.
I mean, they're gonna still do it. They're just gonna have like it's gonna be a lot more like editing out and shit.
Yeah,
like
a lot of blurs.
It's like right when they tackle some dude, and then it just immediately cuts to the guy in the
yeah.
back of the car and shit. He's all fucked up,
All bleeding with
It's all
like grass
bleeding.
all over him.
Yeah, he's got like his eyes like swollen shut and shit, and like it's like, oh my god, what the fuck happened to that guy? You know, he's like, well,
Sitting
he
in
put up a
straight
bit of a
silence.
fight, so let's go ahead and tack on resisting arrest and shit. Yeah, I mean, have you guys watched that? What is that? Live PD.
That was great.
It's yeah, it was
Yeah.
okay. They had to cancel it because people just started hating cops more and shit. Which
Yeah, so that's
you
what
know.
I'm saying is like I don't know if this is really needed now to come back. I mean,
Yeah.
I miss cops. Used to
there's a
watch
lot
them
of
every
reasons
Saturday
to
night,
hate
but
cops for sure. You cannot deny the fact that they do some fucked up shit sometimes. Maybe carrying around a camera and following them is not the best
They're all like
idea.
cops reloaded Portland.
Oh god,
They're like,
stay weird.
Aren't you gonna do anything? Nah, we pretty much just sit in our cars and just watch
yeah,
it.
fuck
People
that
just
shit.
do
Yeah.
everything.
New York, there's like sleeping in his trunk and shit. I remember that. The guy's just like laid out in his trunk. He's just sleeping.
Someone
Yeah.
could be-
Whatever. I mean, Law and Crime Network is. I mean, isn't that like? Is that YouTube, or is that both YouTube and like actual television?
I don't even.
I think it's
I
an
didn't
actual
even know
channel.
that this was
right?
honestly even like a network
yeah, I
or
didn't know it was a
channel.
network.
So
Oh, I've 100% seen Law and Crime Network like everywhere, especially when like Johnny Depp shit was going on, and like they're all the court battles and stuff. It's always Law and Crime Network is the little insignia I see.
Was that it used to be Court TV?
It might. It's like something like that, yeah. But they've expanded. They need to cover it all. So I don't know, but whatever. We'll see. We'll see how the fuck Cops Reloaded ends up
I
being
think it is
in
only a-
2023.
I
and
think it's
shit.
only a YouTube channel. I think.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, anyways, next one on here, Shazam! Fury of the Gods, already coming to streaming less than a month after its theatrical release. Let's get it, boys.
Because The Rock wasn't on it.
Dude, we already gone over all that, but holy shit.
I
It's
would
so
be
sad.
surprised if this going streaming so early will like make it like better in the like perception of
Maybe
everyone else. Like,
accesses more people.
right.
Yeah.
Like it's like, okay, cool, it's free. I don't got to go to the movies right now, and I can just watch it at home and like, all right, cool.
Doesn't make them money though doing that. You know what I mean? Like
No, I'm sure
it's not cracking the
no,
box
it
office.
doesn't. But like, I'm sure it'll
perception.
you know, yeah, save face for Shazam.
We'll see.
I
We'll
guess.
see. We'll see.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't that bad. It was watchable. It was more watchable than Black Adam, I said in our previous show. But
Yeah.
you know,
I
teach
love
their
Black
own.
Adam.
It's the greatest movie ever. First image of the live-action Five Nights at Freddy's movie drops. Comes out October 27th. Looked creepy as fuck. I'm down. I know, like Five Nights at Freddy's, like my wife being a first grade teacher, like they mentioned Five Nights at Freddy's, and that's pretty young.
Yeah, what is up with
that's
that?
crazy.
I've
Yeah, I don't
seen
know.
Kids like
I mean, there's no gore in it. It's just spooky. You know what I mean? Like it's enough
But,
to
like,
spook
it's-
out anybody.
Is this gonna be like Winnie the Pooh and Piglet's revenge?
You done that hideous movie and shit. No, this one looks good. This one looks like very, artsy. I don't say artsy, but a lot more professional. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, check that one out. Check that out on our Twitter. We have that picture up. Filming on Joker 2 wraps. Release date of October 4th, 2024. Now it's internet
The
confused.
hell?
It's like,
If
what
it
the fuck?
wraps, like it's gonna take a whole nother year. Like,
Yeah.
God damn.
So
A year and a half. Dear God.
yeah, so everybody's kind of confused. Like, what? What's this edit window? Like, holy shit, that's odd. You know, it is what it is. So
We will see.
look forward to your near 2025 release for that. It's probably still going to be pushed back, like things are these days. So you're probably your like January 5th, 2025 release.
I'll call summer 2025.
Entire cast of Scott Pilgrim versus the World returns for Netflix anime.
I'm watching it.
Edgar Wright also
I'm
returns.
with it. Yeah.
I'm watching it for sure. I mean, it's. I remember going. Lucas and we went to multiple showings
Midnight.
for it.
Yeah, we went to the midnight.
I saw at least once with you, and but I remember seeing that like at least 4 times in the movie theater.
Yeah.
I was like super into it, and I watched it not too long ago, maybe like a year and a half ago, and it was super watchable. I was like, "Damn, this movie's sick! I love it." It's funny,
It's on
you know.
Netflix. I put it on every now and then.
Yeah, it's a good watch. So pretty stoked. We'll see. I wrote like this is like an testament to just how dope Edgar Wright probably is to like work with and like people coming back. But I did also see contradictory reports that it did take quite a bit to get everybody to come back. So we'll see. Maybe it's a passion project for everybody and they're just into it because that story's fun. First trailer for Adult Swim's My Venture of Superman releases. Features Jack Quaid, it's Huey from The Boys, as the voice of Clark Kent. Looked like a real simple animation. I mean, I might be down. I'm not sure. If it's like Dawn of DC related, like this is continuation of the story, whatever, I'll definitely watch it. But I'm not going to go hunt down where the fuck I can find Adult Swim content. Like I just... if it's a cartoon for kids, I'll just let the kids watch it and shit. And as of the time of this recording, the Super Mario Brothers movie is tracking to make nearly $370 million for its worldwide weekend opening.
Full theaters.
The biggest animated film release of all time.
For the kids.
What'd you think, Lucas? You saw it,
I
right?
liked it.
Yeah, it was a good movie.
I liked
Good
it. I saw it
watch.
last night. It was a good movie. I liked it. And I had overdosed on Benadryl.
Oh, God, so he was like super high.
Falling asleep.
Yeah.
And then my wife was like, "You're not gonna make it through this movie." And we got to the theater, and I stood up for the entire movie. It was actually
He's
like,
like, yeah.
it was like fast paced. It didn't drown out
Yeah.
like a storyline. It just kept on going. And I get that it's made for kids, so you got to keep a kid's attention.
Mhm.
So now you know where my attention span is at.
You know, high on Benadryl.
Grown ass man in a 5-year-old attention span. But no, I dug it. The animation was really good. The story was good. It
Yeah.
brought back a lot of nostalgia. Made me want to get an NES now.
Illumination did it right, just in terms of like the attention to detail for like the CGI and shit. The story is like basic. I think the only character I actually didn't like in terms of voice, I mean, aside from Seth Rogen, I think that's like a given. Shit. It's like I'm sick of hearing that fool's voice.
You know what? It wasn't. Well, when we first saw the trailer and it was like, it's a me, Mario. I thought that's all I'm gonna hear,
Yeah.
and just hear this fake Italian accent, and then Seth Rogen is gonna overpower it with his laugh is very subtle, and his voice is very subtle, so it wasn't like overpowering. and
It
neither
was
was
it
Chris
was
Pratt.
totally just Seth Rogen talking. They just didn't play it up as much, you know. They didn't let him go Timon and Pumbaa level, like, you know.
Right.
But at the same time, like, it was still, you could tell it was just him. But you gotta see what that does for the character in terms of like the entirety of the decades of that character. It's like, okay, so now I'm gonna have like this stupid voice connected to this character when I look back at like Donkey Kong Country and
now
shit.
Donkey Kong is like,
Yeah, like it's canon. That's how he sounds and shit. That's how he acts and talks. That is canon. Chris Pratt didn't sound like Chris Pratt
no.
to me at all. He just sounded like an East Coaster. And then the commercial, it's like where they're really playing up like the Italian accent, you know. It's like I didn't hear Chris Pratt. I did hear Charlie Day or whatever. What's his name? That's his name,
Yeah,
right?
Charlie Day is like basically it's just him. He's Luigi.
I'd say that would be the only voice that I had like an issue with. Just
Liz
because
didn't even know that Bowser was Jack Black.
Yeah, he did a really good job. I mean, that's Jack Black though. He's good at that shit.
He started singing.
He was super into it. Yeah, the song was like corny as fuck.
It was pretty funny.
That's one of those things where I just like look past it because it's like, okay, like a kid would probably be like, okay, like whatever and shit.
It's gonna be the next TikTok trend.
Yeah, his suit when he showed up to like the premiere and shit had like
Hey,
a
yeah,
shell
his
on the
suit- his
back
suit
and
was
shit.
dope, I'm not
Fire,
gonna
his,
lie.
like, he had fire on his like on his collar and his
With,
his
like-
cufflinks and his legs and shit.
His back had like spikes on it.
Yeah, it had like a little mini shell with spikes.
Yeah.
It's just goofy shit, just Jack Black shit. Also making an appearance on Mando in this last episode. He's killing it. But yeah, good voice for him. I can look at Bowser and be like, okay, so that's how he sounds. It makes more sense. You know what I mean? Like it actually humanizes that character. Charlie Day, don't really see him as like Luigi, that voice. You know what I mean? It's not how I envisioned it. It's like almost like I would envision as like Luigi would have had an even thicker Italian accent than Mario. You know what I mean? Like just in my head for some reason. I don't know why. Chris Pratt covered up his voice, but Charlie Day didn't. I think it would have been better if they did. But yeah, I think Chris Pratt did good. I don't know the chick's name that did Peach. Why are they trying to make her look thick and shit? they got that.
Princess Peach.
They like put her in like tight pants and shit. It's like, man, what's her ass sticking out for and shit? But you know, they
I thought
had to
this
put
was
that
a
in.
kids movie.
Yeah, it's a kids movie. So
You
like,
gotta
yeah,
compete with the Incredibles.
yeah, the mom and Incredibles
Yeah.
and shit. Life-changing experience. All in all, I thought it was a fantastic movie. It was like top-notch animation. Definitely don't doubt that it's going to be like one of the highest-grossing animation films of all time. Nintendo has like no plans of making any others. They haven't talked about it or done anything. Super crazy references like everywhere in this movie. Like everywhere. Like everything is a reference. Even down to like the wedding outfit for Bowser. That's Odyssey, you know, like everything was like a reference. Everything. They go in the water, you see every single water character that you've ever seen in any of the properties, you know, the games. Everything was a reference. So I think it's fun. I think it's pretty cool. Kenny, are you gonna see it?
I probably will. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's one where you got to see it in like the movie theater, just because the CGI is like so fucking crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll see a part 2.
Oh yeah, that'll be made for sure, and then total like left open for it for sure.
Yeah, the end credit scene was.
Yeah. I didn't see the end credit scene, but we'll have to talk about it later. No spoilers. Last one on here, Diablo 4 to release June 1st for deluxe and ultimate editions, and June 5th for regular release. Odd hour for like the NA releases. It's one of those things where it's like fucking.
Is it a rolling release?
It's one of those like, oh, it's, I don't know, like 1200. You know, it's midnight for CMT or whatever.
Right.
Or whatever the European or Asian really. It's like a completely like I gotta put it into a calculator and shit to figure out what hour it's gonna come out.
Yeah.
You know? It's one of those where it's gonna come out like 9 p.m. on June 1st.
Right. I forget who else. I think like the last Pokemon game did this too, where it was
Quite a
like,
few.
oh, it like as soon as it hit midnight for Australia or whatever,
Yeah.
it was out there. So like people that had like hacked like
Oh, they change their date.
like
and shit.
region locked like switches were able to get the game
To access it.
Yeah,
It'll be
Yeah.
4 p.m. for us.
It's gonna be see like
that,
total
that is
weird
that is a
fucking
wonky.
hour.
Okay,
And
that
that's
is a
June
wonky.
5th for us.
Yeah, June 5th for regular release.
Yeah.
June 1st, it's supposed to be the second, but June 1st for the deluxe and ultimate because they have advanced early access.
Yeah, they have early access.
Kind of thinking about getting this game. Not gonna lie.
It looks good. Like
PS5.
watching the beta.
Trailers.
Yeah.
Like it looked good.
I've
And
watched people play it.
Yeah, all their trailers always look good.
It's just something, and I was really into Lost Ark for a good bit there, like a month and a half. But
Yeah.
your ARPGs, your isometric ARPGs, it's like the darkness of Diablo. I can get over like the goriness and like the more mature like setting of it.
Yeah.
Not a big deal. But it's really just fucking. I'm getting old, man. Looking like squinting my eyes to see shit, and
Yeah.
anything outside of like 10 feet around you in this game is like pitch black, and it's like
Yeah.
I did play a little bit of Diablo 3 with some buddies, how to get carried and shit.
Yeah,
So I know
Diablo
that if you-
3, I played at release and I got it on my PlayStation.
Yeah.
When it first came out, and like it was like really fun to play with controller.
Really? And I had asked
Oh,
a
yeah.
buddy about that too. I was like, what are we looking at here? Is it one of those things where, it's like a novelty to release it on console, but really you want to play it on mouse and keyboard? And he's like, no, I think you only need like buy buttons and shit.
Yeah.
So
And that's it. Obviously, like yeah, you can have like key bindings and stuff on your keyboard and mouse, but like for the most part, like playing on controller like is pretty satisfying.
yeah, I might have to do that just because, trying to build up this PS5, list of games that I have. So we'll see. I mean, Kenny, you don't have a PS5, right?
No, I don't.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's like which would I actually be able to play? And it's cross-platform. According to official blog, Bethesda Game Showcase announced Diablo 4 does feature cross-progression. But yes, Diablo 4 is cross-play against consoles, quite notably PlayStation and Xbox. So we can all play together regardless. So I'll get it for PS5 and we can all play and chill and shit. I mean, Lucas, I'm not sure if you're even into this type of game, but dungeon clearing,
Can I be Leroy Jenkins and just run in?
basically
You can if you want to.
that's basically the game
definitely-
is just
Yeah.
run around smashing shit and killing enemies and collecting loot and upgrading your shit. This
Yep.
game's gonna have like dungeons and shit, right, where people can go in together and like
Yep.
commit
I mean,
to
that you have that in all the
half-hour
other
fighting
games,
and shit.
but like this is gonna have like open world bosses that you're
Lost
gonna
Ark
have.
shit.
Yeah.
Yep.
So like, and then like they have like specific loot that you can get from those bosses, and there's a lot of new like open world stuff. And I think there's now a PvP.
Oh yeah, there is like an arena
Area
type of
or-
aspect to it.
Yeah. So I wonder how that's gonna work. So,
Gonna be fun.
I've only heard like anything and like nothing like too bad about it. Like I've heard mostly good feedback from on the beta and everything.
And I heard that
there's
that it's
certain-
an actual beta. It's not
Yeah.
a demo.
Yeah, and there was like because I think you could go up to like level 20 for each character. Pretty much, I think the Necromancer is the most OP character right now. So like
You have
just walk
you have
around with
a-
like an army of skeletons.
a lot of people from like hardcore Diablo being like, I'm not really into it, but I mean, it might be a nice jumping in point for people like like myself who like never got into it, but it's like,
Yeah.
I'll play. But this might actually be fun. Crossplay is like it makes it a lot more appealing to me that I'm able to play with anybody at any time.
Yeah.
Type shit. So we will see. All right, so yeah, on every show we announce whatever free games you can access this week. Not doing any movie releases, but this week, Dying Light Enhanced Edition over on Epic, free until April 13th. I mean, if you don't know what Dying Light is, it's first-person parkour-driven single-player zombie survival game. Dying Light 2 came out last year. Pretty well received. It's a nice first-person shooter. But also like melee driven, like I said, parkour. So a lot of running, wall running, jumping, running from zombies and kind of traversing the landscape, zip lining and shit like that. So free is definitely not a bad price for that. It is the enhanced edition, so you get pretty much everything with it. But go and check that one out. Epic Game Store until April 13th. And the other one is a top-down factory builder, like 8-bit puzzle game called Shapes. Not too much to say about that, but again, free is a good price. April 13th is when that one leaves the store. And that's going to be it for this episode. As always, we're on social media. You can find us over at Nerd Chatter Show on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, as well as YouTube. You can find Nerd Chatter Podcast anywhere you can find podcasts, including Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Audible, Spotify, and basically anywhere else you can find podcasts. Make sure to follow and subscribe while you're there. Do want to mention, and going to be doing this pretty much every show from now on because we do use it regularly, but over on Instagram we are reporting the most important news of the day. Not like everything, you know, we're not doing a constant like flow of Star Wars news from the celebration, but they drop a trailer that's important. We should talk about that. You know, they drop an announcement of a new movie coming out or what have you. We should talk about that type of thing. So head on over to our Instagram. That's becoming a pretty reliable and trustworthy source of news over there. All of our episodes are uploaded onto our YouTube channel. We also do weekly live streams playing various games and drinking. Probably gonna do that today, actually. We got PGA to play, and I can even play some Miles Morales, hook it up on the capture card if I wanted to, see what's up. You can also support us, so if you head on over to our Discord, got the free games and Twitter retweet bots still working. Elon they did cut, actually I should look at the bots to make sure that it's still working, but he did cut support to the free API supported like apps and profiles and stuff over on Twitter. So, you know, as of right now, it's still working. Might have some issues with that, but that still is up. And that's pretty much it. But yeah, you guys, appreciate you stopping by and being part of the show.
Thanks for having.
Yeah, always. Yeah.
Like I said, next week we'll have Garrett on the show so we can flesh out the Star Wars announcements a little bit more and talk about whatever they talk about tomorrow. It'll be pretty juicy. Probably talk a little bit about Mandalorian as well, where we're at with that, and then he'll come back for the series or season finale and chat more. So that is it for the show. You guys take it easy.
Later.